What would you do differently if you had nothing to prove? Not hypothetically, as a genuine question worth sitting with. Your answer reveals something most leadership development never even gets close to: the distance between how you currently lead and how you'd lead if your worth wasn't quietly attached to the outcome. Welcome to Daily Power Boost. I'm Sean Michael. This isn't a podcast about pushing harder or fixing yourself. It's a space to see clearly how your experience is actually being created. Each episode offers a simple shift in understanding, not a tactic, not a hustle, a clearer view of thought, identity, and the patterns you've been living inside. Because when misunderstanding drops, relief rises, energy returns. You move forward with calm, sovereign clarity. This is your Daily Power Boost. Welcome back to Daily Power Boost. Last time we talked about pressure, how it doesn't create character, it reveals it. How the version that shows up when things get hard is the most accurate reading of where your identity work actually stands. Today is the other side of that. If pressure exposes the gap, this episode is about what it looks like when that gap has closed enough to lead from a genuinely different place. Not perfectly or permanently, substantially. I want to tell you about a shift I noticed in myself not long ago. For most of my leadership journey, I brought something into every room that I didn't even fully recognize until it was mostly gone. A quiet need for the room to confirm something: that what I was offering was valuable, or I was the right person, confirming the work was landing. It wasn't obvious. I wasn't fishing for compliments. It was subtler than that. It showed up in how carefully I read the room before deciding how direct to be, in how I'd adjust the message depending on who was in front of me, in that slight tension I carried into high stakes conversations, the one that was less about the conversation and more about what the conversation might say about me. And then, gradually, through the work we've been talking about all season, something shifted. I didn't stop caring about the impact. I care more about it now than I ever have. I simply stopped needing the room's response to tell me whether I'd had it. The difference in how I lead from that place, it's not subtle. Here's what needing to prove something actually does to your leadership. It puts a filter between you and the person in front of you. You're half present to them, your other half is monitoring how you're received. Which means the feedback you give is shaped by what you need them to receive rather than what they actually need to hear. The decisions you make carry the weight of what they'll say about you rather than what they'll create. The vision you cast is partly about the future and partly about being seen as someone worth following. None of it's conscious. All of it is costly to the people you lead and to the quality of what you're building. Leading without that filter feels like this. The conversation gets cleaner, not harsher, just cleaner. You can say the difficult thing without softening it into uselessness, because the relationship's survival isn't depending on them agreeing with you. Your decisions get faster, not reckless, because you're solving actual problems rather than simultaneously managing how the decision reflects on you. The people around you feel something shift too, even if they can't name it. When a leader doesn't need anything from the room relaxes. People stop performing for them and start actually working with them. The dynamic moves from managed to genuine. That's not a communication technique. It's not some leadership style you can adopt on Tuesday. It's what becomes available when the identity work gets deep enough that your worth stops being something you need to establish in every interaction. From that place, the leadership that emerges isn't louder or more impressive, it's just more true. And true has a quality that impressive has never been able to match. Today's one question. Think about a leadership situation you're currently in. Team, relationship, some conversation you've been navigating. And ask yourself honestly, what am I subtly trying to establish or protect about myself in this situation? And what would change if I didn't need to? Don't rush past this. Your answer rarely arrives in the first few seconds, so give it room. Because what comes up is a precise map of where the proving is still running, and that's exactly where your next level of leadership is waiting. If this spoke to you and you want to do the specific work of locating where the proving is still operating in your leadership, that's a conversation worth having on a call. We'll find it, name it precisely, and figure out what leading without it actually looks like for you. You'll find a link in the show notes. Next time, there's a difference between telling people what to do and being someone they want to become. Most leaders never discover it. The ones who do change everything about how they're followed. With strength and heart, I'm Shawn Michael. Stay close. Thanks for tuning in to Daily Power Boost. Ignite your potential. Remember, transformation starts with action. So take today's insight, make it your own, and awaken your inner potential. Because remember, greatness begins within. Catch you tomorrow for your next Power Boost.